Alright, so it's the 1st of Feb of 2026. I reckon we can, fucking bus, I would have made that. Anyway, sorry, usual start to the videos. We're arriving a little late today. It's about 10 past 1. This kicks off at 1. It's a Palestinian rally protesting against the Premier, not Premier, what do you call him? The President Herzog, Isaac Herzog of Israel, visiting Australia next week. So on the 8th, I believe, so a week from today. And yeah, I haven't done this usual, like the running of the gauntlet of the socialists for a while as you arrive, but it's they're always catching everyone on the way in. They're the socialists, someone or other, I don't know, learn about Marxism anyway. It's pretty much just Groundhog Day. But anyway, all that aside, so they're here to protest that, and there will be apparently another couple of protests. There'll be probably plenty, but there's another two that I know of. One will be next Friday, which will be held outside Tony Burke's office in Punch Bowl. And then they're going to be up at Town Hall next Monday at 5:30 p.m. for another one here, which will be the arrival day, I believe. So yeah, so let's have a check out what this one's about today. They're going to march apparently because of this the protest laws. They are allowed to march, but it'll only be, you can only march in a southerly direction. So the limit of the protest is just where I walk past, and then to the left here of the park, you can't pass that. You can't pass that point. You have to stay south of that, and you're not allowed in that part of the city. So yeah, anyway, that's what it is. That's what we have. Usual, got the selling their wares. Everyone can get a scarf or a t-shirt. It's not a massive crowd, but it's a good sized crowd. But they're always a bit low in the beginning, and they tend to build. It's, yeah, like I said, it's kind of Groundhog Day, but it's how it always is. They have a set way they run it. You've got the shops on the way in, you've got the socialists at the beginning, and then the shops, and more. The guy goes Marxist stuff there. Palestine football jerseys now. Collection of characters here. Who is that guy? One God, One Purpose, the Final Testament. Oh, he's slogging the Qurans. Got a bit of mainstream media here with this big, oversized, very, very big bouncer that he has with him. Not sure who he's from. Often you have the Greens, and she's selling some Palestinian cakes. Sanction Apartheid Israel Socialist Alliance. So you got the second tranche of socialists up the top here. Stop arming Israel. Looks like the speakers, they're expecting rain. Maybe the speakers covered up. Then you have the Greens. You got her from the Evans from whatever, she's from the Socialist Alliance, I think, as well. Not a target. Healthcare workers. Midwife, not a target. So she's with that group. I'm James, yeah.
I met you yesterday.
Oh.
Snorkeling, sorry.
All right, sorry, I had to pause. I thought I was going to get told off, but it was one of my ladies from my snorkeling group. She's part of the nurses. Yeah, it's familiar faces. Yeah, I'm just telling you, I went to, I'm a bit late getting here today because I went to Shelley Beach to go snorkeling, and oh man, we're just like within feet of a sea turtle. There's eagle rays, fiddler rays, giant cuttlefish, all this stuff. It was such a great great snorkel this morning. Viz wasn't the best, but you know, it is what it is. So you get the cops set up there, smiley and happy. They're all happy. I don't know if there's going to be that many. Certainly not as many as that day, the original one here. Oh, what's this? Oh, I think it's only roped off to let the grass get a bit of a run. It's a crappy little stage today. It's only about 2 feet high. When they get on top of the van, might be better. But yeah, the numbers aren't that great considering it's way past the time now of kickoff. Can see the usual kind of speakers that are there. The PAG guys in their vests. Yeah, so the numbers will grow. They always do. So anyway, we might just settle in and wait for the. I'll get my equipment set up, and there's what's her face right behind Mehreen Faruqi right there in the center of the screen next to the ute. Not sure about others, but I definitely know her when I see her. Okay, let's get settled in. All right, it's just starting to kick off. They're just starting to chance. It's about 1:15. Now I'm probably waiting for the numbers to swell, but they've swollen, I think, a bit. We'll see how it goes from here. The flag's getting popping a bit of wind today. It's not that much wind, but it's enough to move it around. So let's try and get in front of this little, front of this truck. Oh, who is it? Norellahoda.com, PA Community Service 7. I'm not sure who they are.
Stop the genocide! Free Palestine! From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free! From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free! And Netanyahu, you will see that Palestine will be free! Netanyahu, you will see that Palestine will be free! From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free! Thanks everyone for coming out at this hugely important time to mobilise in our thousands yet again, to mobilise in our thousands all around the country yet again, because there are big protests happening today, also in Melbourne and in Perth, to demand a free Palestine. My name is Josh Lees. I'm going to be emceeing today from the Palestine Action Group with Amal, Naser, who I'm sure you know. I want to begin, of course, by acknowledging that we are protesting today, as always, on stolen Indigenous lands. This is the land of the Gadigal people. It was and always will be the land of the Gadigal people. This land was never ceded. This land was stolen. And we stand in complete solidarity with the struggles today of our Indigenous brothers and sisters against the ongoing racism and oppression meted out by the Australian state, the same state that supports the genocidal regime of Israel. And of course, we salute everyone who was out in absolutely huge numbers for the Invasion Day marches that happened less than a week ago. It was incredibly important and inspiring to see tens and tens and tens of thousands of people out all around the country to fight for Indigenous justice and rights, to stand up to the absolutely noxious, fascist, racist creeps out there who are trying to take back their streets, so they say, these neo-Nazi marchers around the country who are, of course, backed by all the same right-wing media outlets who have the nerve to call us racist while they're backing the actual Nazis on the streets. Hugely important to see the huge Invasion Day march, and we want to point out as well that it's because of that big Invasion Day march that defied the Chris Minns ban on protests in this state. It's because of that march that we are allowed to march here today. Because the police backed down and had to alter the totally absurd protest ban restrictions that they've got in place over Sydney. We'll talk a bit more about that later. But it's because they had to alter that for Invasion Day that today we're going to be able to march from here at Hyde Park. We're going to be marching south to Belmore Park and wrapping up there. So we're going to be taking back the streets of Sydney in defiance of the ongoing genocide and also in defiance of President and this whole ridiculous attacks on our rights and protests that he's been reading out lately. Now, as we said, it's so important that we keep taking the streets. It's been, I think, 6 weeks since we organised our last major protest like this from the Palestine Action Group. It's been 6 weeks. It feels like it's been 6 months or a year, to be honest. So much has happened in the world. And of course, not least of which is the fact that the genocide in Gaza continues. And this is the number one point we have to keep saying. Because this so-called ceasefire, which is not a ceasefire, of course, at all, a so-called ceasefire which Israel has killed another 500 Palestinians just since October, in which the occupation of Gaza continues, in which the starvation of Gaza continues, in which the systematic demolition of every building and house that they can demolish in Gaza continues, in which the denial of aid for the people of Gaza continues, in which the people of Gaza are being forced to live in tents, flooding tents and sewerage in the middle of winter, in which at least 1,000 babies have frozen to death in Gaza just in the last 2 months. And all of this amounts, of course, as we know, to an ongoing genocide in Gaza. And that's not just us saying that, that is, again, every major human rights organisation in the world, every serious genocide scholar in the world says that what Israel is doing is genocide, and that continues today in in Gaza. And of course, it's exactly the fact that we will not stop saying that. We will keep protesting against that, and we will keep protesting against our government's complicity in those crimes. It's precisely because of all of that that our government wants to silence us, that they are determined to try to crush this movement, and they're throwing everything at us right now. Now before we move on, we'll talk more about that, I'm sure, but I do want to hand over first off to our first speaker. We have a great lineup of speakers today. First up we have Jayden Kitchener-Waters. Now Jayden spoke and in fact sung at one of our rallies just at the end of last year. If people don't know, Jayden is an Indigenous man who outrageously was sacked from his public service job, sacked by the Chris Minns government. Why was he sacked? What was his crime? For opposing genocide. Literally for having stickers on his guitar that said no pride in genocide. To oppose genocide is a sackable offence, according to Chris Minns. And he was sacked the day after Invasion Day, on the 27th of January. Can you imagine a more despicable, racist, hate-fueled, hate crime act than a government sacking an Indigenous man for opposing a genocide the day after Invasion Day? That's exactly what Chris Minns did. So anyway, please welcome up Jayden.
I just want to start by saying fuck Chris Minns, fuck Chris Minns. Fuck Netanyahu. When our government turns their back on the innocent Palestinian lives being slaughtered at the hands of the brutal, gutless colonial regime, we rise in unity with unshakable determination and we call for a better tomorrow. All of us, hand in hand, side by side, we demand action, accountability and justice. May we all continue this fight until we don't have to fight it anymore. The Palestinian struggle for liberation is a cause that sits very close to my heart. The fight against imperialism, colonialism, neo-colonialism is a fight that my people have fought for over 200 years, and we continue to fight it to this day. May history always remember the Aboriginal people who stood in unity with our brothers and sisters in Palestine. May history always remember us as fierce allies and close comrades in this war against injustice and apartheid. This has always been a shared struggle on this land. The brutality of this colony and its genocidal ways still echoes in the land today. This colony continues to turn a blind eye on the genocide of my people, and it actively celebrates those who commit it. They celebrate them with statues, they name streets after them, universities, towns and roads. They uphold their legacy as noble and heroic colonial leaders whilst ignoring the brutality of the crimes. These genocide committers, they even invite them to this country after 2 years of slaughtering innocent women, children and men. Shame. But the presence of so many staunch activists here today and every day gives me hope that soon the foundations of the colony will crumble to the ground and the power will be returned to the people. The power will be returned to the land. And you on the rise in this mob down Macquarie Street, these cowards that sit in that Parliament House will be nothing but a forgotten shadow in the night, and Macquarie Street itself will be renamed after the people that Macquarie massacred. In 49 days, I'm going to be boarding a flight to Sicily. I'll be spending April on the Mediterranean Sea, and the flotilla joined by hundreds of other boats and thousands of people. In a unified attempt to break the siege and deliver life-saving humanitarian aid to Palestine. Some people call this brave, and that's something that we accept. It's something we embrace, because the future of this world depends on the brave. It depends on those who sacrifice their lives, their paychecks, and their safety for the sake of others. It depends on those who march the streets, who write to their local ministers, who boycott the big brands and businesses that support the ongoing mass slaughter of men, women and children. The future of this world depends on the brave people that hold their friends, family, communities, governments accountable for in the face of injustice. The future of this world depends on those individuals who stand up for what's right, even when their country tells them no. The future of the world depends on these individuals, but I can promise you now it also belongs to these same individuals. The future belongs to us, the people. All of us here today carry a unique spirit of courage, devotion and dedication that can seldom be found in those Parliament halls. Today and every day we face the world and we make a bold decision. We make a choice. We can surrender to the growing threat of fascism, or we can rise to the cause of the people. We can abandon the future generations of this world by allowing the greedy to continue their endless pursuit for profit, for our global community and for our country. For the country, the land. We can yield our human rights for the sake of compliance or in obedience, or we can globalise the intifada. It's up to us.
We will not normalise meet up here again. Although the circumstances that bring us together here again are bloody awful, it's good to be together once again with everyone in this amazing community. I'm conscious that I'm censuring Jews again by speaking today. I would hazard a guess that most Australians are sick of hearing about Jewish feelings ad infinitum. I surely am. But please indulge me for a short while, because anti-Zionist Jews are rarely heard publicly, except at rallies like this or independent media. We're either ignored, erased, or attacked. Label capo, self-hating Jew, terrorist supporter, or told that we deserve a bullet or a claw hammer in the skull. I'm still waiting for the Australian Federal Police to get back to me on that one, and finding a lunatic who sent me an email with those words. Or asked, as I was recently on X, how Jewish are you? That tweet reflects an entire political and media climate that insists there is one Jewish community and one Jewish view. And that view is unwavering support for Israel. We hear it from every politician. My stomach sinks when the likes of Pauline Hanson parrots the words I won't try to do her accent, and says she stands with Australia's Jewish community. Or when Julian Lisa declares the Liberals will always stand with Jews. To explain why his party helped ram draconian hate laws through Parliament. Which Jews exactly I ask? Or when the Home Affairs Minister Tony Burke declares there's no doubt the Jewish community is safer because of these new laws. What planet is he on? Exceptionalizing Jews like this will only fuel anti-Semitism. Minister Burke, there is no single Jewish community. There are Jews who support Israel, Jews who oppose Israel and Zionism, secular Jews and devout Jews, and Jews who are devastated that our identity as a people has been hijacked by Zionism, and that we oppressed people became the oppressors. So, how Jewish am I? I'm not going to dwell too much on this, but I'm not religious now, but I was brought up in an Orthodox Jewish family. I was proud of my Jewish heritage until the day it became synonymous with the genocide of Palestinians. For what it's worth, my ancestry DNA states that I'm 98% East European Jew, from countries where members of my extended family were exterminated in the Holocaust. Not indigenous to Israel, Eastern Europe. I was obsessed with the Holocaust from a young age. I volunteered at the Sydney Jewish Museum. And for anyone wondering if I would have been Jewish enough in the 1940s, as we all know, Hitler would have killed me regardless.
Shame!
Ironically, I now have more Jewish friends than I had since childhood. Because this movement has brought us together. And we've made friendships for life through this movement with our brothers and sisters from Palestine. And all our here. A couple of weeks ago, the Albanese government did a backroom deal with Liberals to ram through the new hate laws, apparently to combat anti-Semitism after Bondi. They sold this as Jewish safety, but we know which Jews they mean. Not all of us Jews stand against the genocide. And to hell with hatred against Muslims, First Nation people, or any other minority group that pops it in Australia, they don't count. They claim it's about cracking down on extremists, but once governments bring in such laws, give them an inch and we know they'll take a mile. Under this regime, it's not hard to imagine Tony Burke going after groups like PAG or just against the Occupation 48. Will be put on lists again, just like the Nazi era.
Shame!
Or just like maybe in the UK with the prescription of Palestine Action. That's gone so well with Starman so far. While I'm talking about Tony Burke, am I the only one who remembers he was the same bloke Walk for Respect in the Canberra 2017. March against racism and Islamophobia. I was there, I remember it well. The destruction wrought by the two terrorists at Bondi has reached far beyond the victims. In the weeks since, the massacre has torn a country that has historically responded to tragedy with unity rather than blame and polarisation, followed by repression. Last week, I attended the Sydney premiere of The Voice of King Rajab. I hope when this film goes on general release, it has the same effect as Anne Frank's diary did when it was published. This angel's tiny voice begging for hours to be saved. Surrounded by dead family members in the car which was shot at 355 times. The IDF monsters killed her along with the ambulance officers sent to rescue her. But Premier Chris Minns doesn't think we should protest that evil. And he doesn't want us to chant globalised intifada.
Globalised intifada!
He never chanted that, he just picked up on an English communicator. I guess he's never heard of the Streisand effect. On 22nd of December, a closed-door committee of slogans, specifically Globalised Intifada, was set up with submissions due just 3 short weeks later. Their report was quietly released late on Friday. It recommends banning the phrase. A bunch of Anglo-Australians deciding what the Arabic word means have completely racist. The outcome was predetermined. Over 700 submissions, many from anti-Zionists like myself, stating facts like the Warsaw Ghetto uprising was an intifada when spoken about in Arabic,
Yes!
and that is the right under international law to resist your occupier. Once again, the feelings of Zionist Jews prioritize over fact or evidence. This unused phrase makes Jewish people feel unsafe allegedly. They think intifada calls for violence against Jews. Yet, we Jews protest when we protest in here in town. Long live intifada. Are we meant to believe we're calling for violence against ourselves? How completely ridiculous. Anything for social cohesion, I guess. Talking of which, Australia's laying out the red carpet for Isaac Herzog. Lift the spirits of the Bondi family. His entourage includes IDF Commander Amal, who has been accused of a number of war crimes. Back in 2005, the Chief London Magistrate issued an arrest warrant for him. Herzog himself, as we know, named by the UN Human Rights Commission inquiry as one of Israel's leaders guilty of inciting a genocide in Gaza. Tony Bird knows who these men are. He knows what they've done and what they've said, and he'll rather than be that anyway. Tony Wong says, Herzog here is a victim. Albanese urged us to respect this solemn visit. And Bill has sworn that demonstrators will not have the free run of the stage during the visit. There's nothing funny about any of this, but I was reminded this morning of the old Ben Elton joke from the 80s, where Jesus and Hitler were walking up to get into a nightclub, and the bouncer says, "Nice boots, Hitler, no way Jesus, you're wearing sandals." And anyway, I used to think we were living in a parallel universe. Clearly it's not us, it's them. I've seen many comments, I am backing up, alright. I've seen many comments on social media from people across the country who have never protested before, but they say they'll be protesting Herzog. That's social cohesion right there, Amo. Finally, we've managed to unite the country. Before I finish, I just want to mention that due to Exaltation 48, I'm running a crowdfund on Trust. Because we want to do an information campaign with Herzog if he's here, if he comes, during the visit, to make it clear that many Jews obviously reject him. Details will be found on Exaltation 48. Instagram and Facebook. Thank you to everyone who's donated. What happened to me, what happened to me, and I'll hope you see you soon. And I'll end with, I was going to say globalise the ... but from the river to the sea.
From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. From the sea to the river, Palestine will live forever. From the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. Stop the genocide. Free Palestine. Thank you so much, Judith. And as Judith and others have said, we are really living in an upside-down world at the moment. A world where the biggest terrorists on the planet, the people who have either carried out or helped to back and fund and arm a literal genocide in Gaza that have killed hundreds of thousands of people, those same people who are also the biggest racists on the planet because they back and support a genocide, have the nerve to accuse the people in the world who have done more than anyone else to stand up against terrorism and racism, to accuse us of being the ones responsible for a heinous act like the attack at Bondi. It is really an upside-down world in which we have a Prime Minister pass laws supposedly against hate speech and then invite someone accused of inciting genocide to tour the country. To tour the country explicitly, basically as part of a PR tour for a genocidal state. That's what this visit is from Herzog. And then of course we have both the Crispins and the Albanese governments who have not banned the arms trade with Israel. Crispins did not ban the weapons expo held here just 2 months ago in Sydney with the Israel's biggest weapons companies. But what they do want to ban is phrases that no one even said. What they do want to ban is protests on the street, a mass peaceful protest movement against their policies. And today just reveals how utterly absurd, if it wasn't already clear, this entire protest ban from Crispins is. Because right now, if you can't tell, if we were to march that way out of Hyde Park, or that way out of Hyde Park, we would be in breach of these new anti-protest laws. We would be deemed a threat to social cohesion. It would be violence and anarchy on the streets, and this supposedly would lead to terrorist attacks. But if we march that way and that way, then that's fine. This is the world Crispins has created, a kind of Orwellian, nightmarish world where the criminals accuse us of criminality, where the racists accuse us of racism, where the world's biggest terrorists accuse us of being responsible for terrorism. And as Judith says, and as Amal has said, of course this mass movement has done the exact opposite of what they say. This mass movement has been a bulwark against all forms of racism in society for the past 2.5 years. Where else in society do we have people from all different backgrounds and faiths marching together to condemn racism, to celebrate what should be our joint values as human beings, fighting for the liberation and equality of all of us on this planet, from Sydney to Gaza and everywhere else? And we know, of course, that there are two main causes of anti-Semitism in the world today. The one, of course, is the despicable growth of the extreme right and the Nazis around the world. And of course, we all remember the Elon Musk Hitler salute that all of our politicians refuse to condemn and refuse to even say that's what it was. And of course, we know about the Nazis on the street who are all backed by the same Murdoch newspapers, who allowed that movement to come into existence, who then have the nerve to call us anti-Semites. So that is the one key pillar of anti-Semitism today, is the far right, is fascists, neo-Nazis, and we are part of the fight against those people. And of course, we salute everyone in Minneapolis and Minnesota standing up against Trump and his fascist lifestyle. the actions of Israel and people's mistaken belief that Israel acts in the name of Jewish people in the world. And of course that is a mistaken belief. And again, who else in society has done as much as what we all have in the past 2.5 years to say that that is wrong, to say that we do distinguish between the acts of a criminal Israeli state and Jewish people in the world. Now we do not blame one for the actions of the other. No one else has done that. And of course, the key people deliberately conflating those things are our government, our media, and our Israel lobby in this country. And as Judith pointed out, now we have a despicable and dangerous situation where they are telling the people of this country that our rights have to be taken away, our rights to free speech, our right to protest, our right to even speak up against the genocide have to be taken away, supposedly in the interest of Jewish safety. This is a disgusting argument, a despicable argument. We are told, literally today, you can either oppose the genocide in Gaza or you can oppose the terrorist attack in Bondi. We are being told that you cannot oppose both. This is an absolutely sick world they are trying to create. And we are the people who reject that. We condemn the despicable actions of Bondi and we condemn the despicable genocide in Gaza. It's not very hard to do. Most people in the world think that. And we will keep fighting and fighting and fighting for our right to say that here. Against every attack. Against Chris Min's laws, people would have seen his latest thing is to try to make us only be able to protest in the domain. That's his latest thought bubble. And at a federal level, of course, these despicable new laws which potentially can give the government, can give three people is all it takes now to declare any group in Australia that they don't like, a banned hate group, and its members can be jailed for 15 years. It just takes 2 minutes, isn't ahead of ASIO. And they try to tell us it's not a political process. How dumb do they think we are? Honestly. But that's the situation we're in today. Repressive laws, and let's be clear, Trump wishes he had in America right now. But Australia does have them. Australia has more repressive anti-protest laws than Trump's America. Think about that. Yes! All right. Now, the other crucial thing to say, of course, is that even though all of our institutions are rushing to create this authoritarian Orwellian nightmare, we know that the mass of ordinary people in this country, millions and millions and millions of people who have stood up and opposed genocide, do not believe any of this bullshit. We are not going to be cowed by this bullshit. We are not going to be silenced by this bullshit, and we are going to continue to come out again and again to fight against genocide and to fight for our right to protest. And we saw that with the Adelaide Writers' Week, response from all those brilliant writers who stood up and said, no way in hell are we going to stand by and allow a Palestinian author to be cancelled for being Palestinian in this despicable racist fashion, standing with Randa Abdel Fattah. And we're seeing it in the response right now, the thousands and thousands of people out here right now, and the huge numbers that are going to turn out to protest against Herzog when he tries to step foot in this country. So we need absolutely thousands of us to be out there. We need to be brave, we need to stand up, we need to be disciplined, we do need to be smart in how we're responding to this new repressive environment. But above all, we need to be brave and organised and bold and determined that they are not going to silence us. And on that note, I'm going to pass over to our next speaker who will give, not that we need more reasons, but Shamikh Badra is from Gaza. And he can tell his own story, but his story is, of course, the ultimate reason why we need to keep fighting, why they won't shut us up, and why it's so obscene that they would tour this war criminal president to come to Australia.
Free, free Palestine!
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 As a Palestinian from Gaza, I'd like to thank you for supporting us. Thank you for standing here today. Thank you for standing for justice in Palestine and Gaza. Your solidarity gives us hope. Hope to continue our resistance against occupation until we achieve independence, liberation, and freedom. The president of Israeli colonial state, Isaac Herzog, said in record, it's an entire nation out there that is responsible. Let's us stop here. When this man declared an entire nation responsible, he removed civilians from protection. Children become targets. Hospitals become targets. Homes become targets. This was incitement. History teaches us when such words lead, international bodies understood that because words prepare the genocide for violence and genocide. And then came the next step. Another minister, you have Gant, he said, we are fighting human animals and we are acting accordingly. He said, no electricity, no food, no water, no fuel, everything is closed. These were not threats, they were orders. Food was cut, water was cut, medicine was cut. This is collective punishment. This is a war crime. And then we saw the outcome. The same President Herzog again spoke and filmed signing rockets. Rockets that fell on civilians, on homes, on families. Words, orders, weapons. This is the chain of genocide. Let me tell you what those policy did. My father was old. My father was sick. He died without enough medicine, enough food, enough water. Not by accident, but because of deliberate policy. My brother was a physiotherapist. He helped people. His wife was a doctor. She saved lives. Her father was also a doctor. They believed in humanity. They were killed along with their 4 children. And my brother and his family didn't just die. They disappeared. For more than 2 years, we haven't known where their bodies are. We were told they are still under the rubble. We couldn't bury them. We couldn't say goodbye. We couldn't grave with dignity. This is not only death, this is erasure. This is what genocide looked like in real life. When families are denied even the dignity of a grave, this is what incitement produces. This is what dehumanization does. And now we are told that the man who defended these policies is welcome in Australia. I followed legal channels. I formally lodged a complaint with the Australian government. I have received no response. What happened next is a matter of public responsibility. There should be no red carpet for incitement, no handshakes over mass graves. Because when officials shake hands, when doors are open, when red carpet are rolled out, they are stepping over rubble, they are stepping over body, they are stepping over my family. Justice doesn't begin with diplomacy, it begins with the truth. The truth demands accountability. Don't normalize incitement. Don't legitimize collective punishment. because words matter, because policies kill, because silence enables, and because Palestinians, even under level, are still human, still visible, and still deserving of justice. I stand here for victims, for my father, for my brother and his family, for every Palestinian life. Thank you so much.
Senator Mehreen Faruqi is a senator of the Australian Greens, which has been a staunch supporter of the Palestinian movement.
Assalamu alaikum. I stand before you today, a loud and proud brown migrant Muslim woman who is unashamedly and unapologetically pro-Palestine and anti-genocide. And no matter what they throw at us, I will never shy away from being who I am. And I will never shy away from standing up and speaking out for justice. I acknowledge the sovereign owners of the lands we gathered on, the Gadigal people, and pay my deepest respects to elders past and present. Always was, always will be Aboriginal land. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people continue to bear the brunt of violence, discrimination, and racism in these colonial systems. And if we needed any more evidence of how little First Nations lives matter to Labour governments, federal and state, it happened on Invasion Day. In Booralu, a bomb was thrown into a crowd of First Nations people and their allies. And the silence from the establishment has been deafening. And let me tell you this, the silence is not accidental. It reflects a political culture that has normalized violence against First Nations people and treats it as unworthy of urgency or outrage. If this had happened to almost, and I say almost deliberately, if this would have happened to almost anyone else, there would have been wall-to-wall media coverage, emergency press conferences, and calls for new laws. But when First Nations people and their allies are attacked, politicians and the mainstream media barely mention it. These double standards are disgusting, and they have been entrenched in this country now. And the impact is devastating, and we see it every single day. For the last 2 years, the Albanese and Minns Labour governments have searched for ways to shut us down, to shut down the anti-genocide, pro-peace movement of people that show solidarity with Palestine. And they do think that they have finally found a way through their reckless, dangerous, and divisive laws, which are an assault on democratic rights and freedoms. With this so-called ceasefire, which we all know is not really a ceasefire, as Palestinians are killed every single day. 31 Palestinians were killed just overnight under this so-called ceasefire. But we are now seeing a deliberate plan to insulate and protect the Israeli government from any accountability and any consequences, because they are building the power to implement a Trump-style crackdown on free speech, including attempts to ban phrases and protests against a genocidal state. It is disgraceful, this descent into authoritarianism, with the government deciding what you can say, how you can say it, and when you can say it. But so many of you being here today shows that we will fight this. When we fight this, and we clearly see the deceitfulness and dishonesty in what Labour are doing. Because while pretending to crack down on selective racism and selective hate, they do nothing to stop the ultimate form of racism, genocide and apartheid. We are now, and it makes me sad to say this, but we are now a country whose political class would rather destroy our democratic, civil, political and human rights than take meaningful action against genocide, against discrimination and against racism. They think that they can stop us talking about Israel and genocide, that we will ignore the military trade and the parade of Australian politicians who stream to Israel every single year.
That's right.
Well, that is not happening. We are not going to let that happen because the genie is out of the bottle and it is never going to go back in. They say that they are doing this in the name of unity, protection against racism and social cohesion. How utterly Orwellian. We know what they really mean when they say this. For black and brown people, for Muslims, for Palestinians and their allies, it means shut up, otherwise we will put you in jail. That is what they want to do. The Albanese government are such complete and utter hypocrites, banging the drum of unity while doing the most divisive thing possible by placing a welcome mat for the head of a state committing genocide. You don't fight racism by rolling a red carpet out for a war criminal, do you? This is a man found by the UN Commission of Inquiry to have publicly incited genocide. This is a man who autographed bombs used to flatten hospitals, murder children, and destroy entire apartment blocks. And yet, Labour and Liberal politicians are falling over each other to justify his visit. And they have the audacity to tell us that it is a good thing. No, Minister Wong, it is a very bad thing to welcome a war criminal who should be in The Hague facing trial for the war crimes of Israel. We are now officially a state that not only appeases but welcomes war criminals. A state that no longer believes in international law. And in their most recent move, just this morning, the Albanese government has refused to sign even a statement condemning Israel for demolishing UNRWA's East Jerusalem headquarters. A statement signed by 11 countries, including their allies, Canada, UK, and France. So it seems they have now stopped even pretending that they care. But here's the thing. The Prime Minister does not speak for us. He cannot pull wool over our eyes, no matter how much he tries to defend the visit of Israel's president. Israel has massacred, bombed, and dehumanized Palestinians for decades and is now on a genocidal mission to erase them. So we will not let Herzog's visit go unchallenged. We will to be stripped away quietly and without resistance. Because unlike the Labour government, we take our moral responsibilities seriously. And we take our strength from decades of resistance and resilience of the Palestinian people and the hundreds of years of resistance and resilience of First Nations people right in this country. So to Anthony Albanese and to Chris Minns, hear this very clearly and loudly. Pass as many anti-democratic laws as you want with your mates in the Liberal Party. You will not silence us. You may try and criminalize solidarity, but you will not crush us. You will never crush us. We are united on the streets of this country, in the hundreds, in the thousands, in the millions. War criminals are not welcome here. Prime Minister, cancel Herzog's visit. And while you're at it, rip up and reject Trump's invitation to join the farcical imperialist so-called Board of Peace. Rip it up! The Labour government may not want to hold Israel to account, but be sure of one thing. We will hold the Labour government to account. And we will not stop talking about Palestine. Palestine will be free from the river to the sea. Thank you so much, everyone. See you on the streets of the night.
Thank you, Mehreen. Bringing the house down. Good on you. Say it loud, say it clear. War criminals not welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Herzog is not welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. War criminals not welcome here. Say it loud, say it clear. Herzog is not welcome here. All right, we're going to march, but I do just want to leave you with that mission. We have a mission, all of us, for the next 8 days, and that is to build and build and build this growing momentum to cancel Herzog's visit. Herzog is going to arrive in Sydney on Monday, the 9th of February. That evening, we are planning a massive demonstration. Here in Sydney, it's going to be 5:30 p.m. Monday, the 9th of February at Sydney Town Hall. This is going to be part of a national day of protest. There are already dozens and dozens of cities around the country planning to come out at the same time on Monday, the 9th of February, to say cancel Herzog's visit, and if he does step foot in this country, to say he must be arrested. He must be arrested and investigated for his crimes against humanity, for his crimes of inciting genocide. And there is growing momentum against Herzog's visit. We need to keep building that, so please get out there, tell everyone you know, tell everyone to bring everyone they know to that protest. We need to be huge there at Town Hall on Monday the 9th of February. And just a note about the laws, because I know some people understandably are worried about this. So we expect that on Tuesday next week, that's the 3rd of February, that's when the police commissioner can choose to extend these protest restrictions for another 2 weeks. We expect that he will. I wonder why. So that means that there will be extra restrictions on protest. But we must all be clear, it is still legal to come and attend a public assembly. That will not be against the law. It is not a crime to come to Town Hall and protest against these war criminals. And we want everyone to be there on the 9th to do that. And of course, we assert and we demand and we plan that we do want to march on our streets that night.
Yes!
That it should be our right to march against the war criminals. Yes. And we need huge numbers there so that we can march on that night against Herzog and demand he be arrested for war crimes. Alright, so please get out there and spread the word and make that huge. We need to build that coalition that saw 300,000 march over the bridge. We need them there on Monday night, the 9th of February. We need all the trade unions to stand up again and come and mobilise their members to be there, and every other community organisation in this country. Alright, time to hit the streets today. It's a slightly different route, as I said. We're going to be marching out of Hyde Park towards the cathedral onto College Street. Then we're going south down College Street, and we're ending at Belmore Park. So please be loud.
All right, the march is about to kick off, and they're coming in, I think you're saying a different way, so they're going to come out, yeah, they're going to come out the side here, the St Mary's side. Oh, they're already on the way. First light anyway, they're getting there. It's a pretty big crowd. It's not a massive one compared to what they have had. And the week before for Invasion Day, so maybe a few people are just a bit worn out or whatever, but yeah. Gives you a rough idea. There's quite a few, but usually it's thinning out in that section there. Usually goes right past the front to the back. All right, I'll pause and we'll go to the front. Okay, so you've got a reasonable number of cops set up at the front here. The big hat cop and his assistant, big hat cop. The organisers here in the beginning, and there's Bob chanting down the front. He's got his boycott Israel sticker on his back.
Palestinian! We are all Palestinians! Israel the terrorist state! Israel the fascist state! Israel the terrorist state! Israel the fascist state! Israel the fascist state! Israel the fascist state!
She's 7, obviously you got a 7 mic on, and her camera woman, which is unusual as well. The other one with the bouncer, I'm not sure who he is. He just seems to be filming. No, cops are chatting to this guy here. Not sure what that's about. Another one here, not sure about him either. So. Here's Josh Lee's come to the front to get on the mic. So again, it's an odd route where they will leave this little gap here. I don't even think they can go both gaps, just the one. They're up.
Free Palestine! Stop the genocide! Stop the genocide!
I had a bit of an equipment failure with my gimbal, so we're going to be a bit wonkier today. That's Bob in the middle there with the big Palestinian flag. And the boycott Israel on his back and the red paint on his face. A bit of an idea. Herzog in Sydney last straw, sign says. Oh yeah, he's a regular guy. This bouncer is very good at staying on that guy. I'll get to the front a bit more. Yeah, we'll go right down and to the end, and we'll get a good shot of the numbers. stop the jolting as I walk around. Someone stole my spot just as I was getting there, but this isn't too bad. As well, flag, and they're going all the way back in. So yeah, it's going to be a big crowd. It's definitely looks smaller than I was there. It looks like there's still just as many people in at the fountain. You can see where the fountain is spraying on the left there of the screen. It's still coming out. For the St Mary's aspect of things. I might go up here and try and shoot from this little spot instead, because my spot on the other side got it's not too bad here. On the street now, out of the park. That's a good stretch. Not the same as last week's one, but that was a different, different occasion. And they're all in pretty tight right now. This one's Israel boots and Islamic men.
Occupation is a crime! Free, free, free Palestine! Say it loud, say it clear! War criminals not welcome here! Say it loud, say it clear! Herzog is not welcome here! Say it loud, say it clear! War criminals not welcome here! Say it loud, say it clear! Herzog is not welcome here!
The socialist group, they were very dancey when they want to lead it, and they have different chants. The sign, the yellow sign that no one understands, 2030 on there, thanks to Clover Moore, our esteemed mayor. Someone will work it out. Check out the 2030 agenda if you're something with these pants on your hands. It's written on the signs all around the city, right next to the street safety CCTV cameras. Continual recording in this area. Check it out anyway. It's all a conspiracy theory, of course. Yeah, they have their there was just had that, they're a little, much more upbeat there ones. And they're the leaders there cheering their contingent on for the red flags. Not sure what the red flags are about. Oh, they got a terrorist image of Mims on one side, and I think a Herzog on the other. He's a fascist, and I think the other one said terrorist, but unless the person spins it, we won't know. Here comes the big flag. I don't know if it's not the big flag, it's just the big flag. They have several of them. No horses today, which is unusual. Normally they have horses at the end. That's pretty much the whole contingent coming past now, with the flag taking up a bit of space. Cook and Phillip Park. I'm sure that, I wonder why it hasn't been graffiti yet, but I'm sure it will be at some stage. Sanctioned Israel signs. This is the Teachers Federation. Yeah, various other signage. Oh, they've gone miles ahead now. They're right up. So that's the Australian Museum. Now that's to the where my finger is now is just the Cook statue up in there. Jesus, a lot of turds on here, a lot of bird poo. But let's see if I'll continue on under turd, boom boom, or above turd. All right, cut the jokes. No, I'm getting down. This is too fucking disgusting. Oh, me back. All right, so we'll head back up we'll get back to the front again. Yeah, you can see. When I get to the gap here, there was a bit of kerfuffle there last weekend, which there was a lot of me. Oh, well, you know, I saw coverage of it anyway, where the people were having a picnic at the Cook statue with the Aussie flags, and then as the Invasion Day protesters came past here, or before I think, or some guy went up and he pretty much tried to steal someone's flag, and yeah, it was all a bit of a thing. And then he yelled at, they had words between each other. So yeah, it's available to find if you want to find it. There it is. There's Captain Cook. And a year ago, they tried to chop off his foot, Captain Cook's foot. The cops, the protesters, the guy in a mask, random, walking around town with his mask on. Didn't realise COVID's over. And like I said, that's the Australian Museum there. It's quite a good number. It's not the same route they would like to have through the city, where you get a lot more people staring, and here you got a dozen, but in the city they get heaps and heaps more. That little fella needed a drink, so yeah, we're trying to catch up to the front again, but I'll stop in the middle here for the these are the socialist groups with their little section, like I said, with the red flags. They're dancing, and yeah. But we'll try and get back to the front. Sun. Read that later. Not sure what these guys are, but this guy's got a few big bodyguardy types with him. So I don't know who he is. But he's candid. Yeah, he's candid heading back. I'll get up to the front. Oh, this is the City Uni students for Palestine doing their little on the road recording, which is those two there. That'll be up on their Facebook later for anyone interested. Next, now we're at the corner of College and Buxton Street, and there's the intersection here. Oh, they're going to turn here. And then turn again. Yeah, it's the same as pretty much the same march they had last week. Sometimes you get a good shot down the guts, but it's not high enough. It's a very great shot. But so they'll make a sharp turn here, which will be down. I'm not sure when it becomes Liverpool. Oh, it does becomes Liverpool. So this Oxford Street here ends. Liverpool Street starts here. There's Bob. There's sign. Trying to hold back the wind. Someone's beeping, but I think it's just, I'm assuming it's a beep of support. Oh, no, that again. Yeah. I think that's a non-happy beep. It was a bit too loud, that one. The cops trying to tell people to stop and go and do this and do that. Oh, they get the people across the road. for the crossing, I'm thinking. Cockatoo there, or bird, maybe that's a bird of white. Oh no, it's a sort of a double piece maybe. Sure. Whoa. Probably here in the speaker Edelweiss, you know, that's how the city streets work. Bring on wonderful the Virgin. So that's a walking peacefully with candles in remembrance of HIV/AIDS victims. Whitland Square, Sydney, 1995. So missed that one. Oh wow, look at Hyde Park how it was in the day. All right, let's get down the front again. I want to get up into the, if they turn at Elizabeth Street, I'll go up into the Goulburn Street car park. So this is a Mormon Centre, Church of Jesus Christ and Latter-day Saints, and they all are up there. They're all kind of walking down at it, all the Mormons, checking out what's happening as the Palestinian procession proceeds along. Just coming past Commonwealth Street, which doesn't mean anything to most people, only a few in the know from back in the day. They're going to turn, I'm assuming they will turn at the next one, which is Elizabeth. Step here on that one. Oy, 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 that's a big one. All right, let's get to the next point. And then we're coming past the memorial now. This guy's ditching he's throwing his signs down. He's got to get a phone call and he can't do it without hands. Well, even the top of the tower is in a sort of a fog. Very funny, smoggy day today. Great snorkeling though. They've reached the corner of Elizabeth and what were we on? Liverpool. Elizabeth, Liverpool. I saw them with Liverpool. And the cops on bikes are stopping them here. You've got a bit of an interview. Oh, there was a 7, I think she was, wasn't she? I don't know who she is. Interviewing this guy. Bob's in the background, giving some, making the footage look good. He's the Palestinian guy that spoke. The bikes are all set up here. Having a chill, give them a nod. I don't like to do too much more than that with the cops. So you'll probably be able to see the length of it from here, maybe. Alright, so I've got to get ahead. I want to get up on the, they're cutting out now, they're going back to the station to head home. I want to get up on the parking garage, so I will be standing right there, next to that sign. So I am now, I'll be up there above the Specsavers guy. I am now on the corner of Goulburn and Elizabeth, and it looks like they're going to go straight. Doesn't look like they're turning now, they're not turning, so they're going to go straight. But last week at the Invasion Day rally, they had a sit down here because I went up the top of that pub there to get a good shot, and then the bloody all sat down about where they are now. So it looks like they're going to continue because the coppers aren't, unless they throw one. I think that lady's just pausing for effect, not stopping. But yeah, last week they had a stop and a sit down here, which is a thing they do every year with the Invasion Day rally, where they usually do it at a different time. Keep moving and get something else. All right, so then keep going up to the top. So what I want to do is go in here and then go up in the lift. Alrighty, so I'm going to head up in this lift. Jump in here before these people get in. Close the door. No, just got to ourselves. So yeah, this like I said, it's last week. Well, very flustered. It's everywhere. Last week yeah, for the Invasion Day rally. I went up there, got some good shots, I think. There was other media who already gotten there, but I didn't see any today. But there's a limited amount of media today compared to last week. But here we are, let's keep you with. You might as well enjoy the whole experience. Come out here, level 5. Always empty, there's bugger all cars here, because you park anywhere except for this bloke. But you jump up here, jump over all these things here, and hopefully we don't fall off the edge. Whoa, yeah, perfect timing. Look at that. Holy fucking cannoli. I had my gimbal last week, now I've got handheld. Yeah, it's certainly a lot smaller crowd, but that's to be expected. But it's a exclusive this week, no one else here. So this is there's a guy coming up, but I think he's just a random. Look, watch me toes here. It's a long way down, a hell of a long way down. Unless he's coming to, no, he's not coming to tell me off. But yeah, you can see that's the socialist groups are there. And this was that big sign with the lights on it. I'm not going to step on the next level. It's a little bit too much even for me. Yeah, and there's a big gap. There's a gap in the middle, and then the big flag, the big flag, and then and that's not even. They didn't even worry the horses this week. And then the road people, reopened the road behind it all. So yeah, not great. It's going at a bit of a cracking pace too this week compared to last week's one, but it was a lot more to get through. I might go to the end. Or not. Well, there's a guy, he's ruining my exclusive, brother. But I think he might be just a random, I don't know. Yeah, this footage makes it look a bit scant. But yeah, you can see in the original part there's a good number. There's this guy, regular guy with his rainbow flag and his Aboriginal flag and his Palestinian flag and all sorts of odds and sods that he has each week. In fact, the wind is really blowing. Whoa. All right, I'm down. I'm getting down. Yeah, I didn't know if I'd get in. If the cops might have said something last week, but nothing got said. It lives in this car. No, it's a baby seat in there. All right, let's get down the other end. There's a little car parked up here, all on its lonesome. Not sure why people choose yellow, but it seems to be a popular choice. All right, so we're at the other end now. Here they come, and they've fenced it off. You used to be able to go over there, but no such luck anymore. I'm not climbing up on this ledge. We are running a little, because I had to come down the lift there. These are the famous tunnels, if everyone knows it, from the Matrix, where he picks that little thing out through his nose, or they do, and they throw it out in the dirt on the ground here. A lot of the Matrix was shot around here. It's a very interesting old video, which might be gone now, by a guy called Marco, who was in the snorkeling arena. Yeah, he did a really good video of all the places around Sydney that had it in it, but I think it's gone. All right, I don't want to run, it's too jiggly. So it's everyone coming in now. Go up on the top here and we'll film them from the elevated position behind this grey gentleman. I'm not sure which of the two tunnels it was. There are two of them. I think it was the first one. Could be wrong. Not really a great view from here, but so I think they may have some more speeches up here. The socialists have already got here early and set up their stand. They're ready. Bobbler. I'm going to get a drink. All right. Yeah, we'll go down, follow him in. He's a funny little fellow, this guy. He's at everything, but he always just walks completely separate. He's lost a lot of weight too, so I think he may not be well. Yeah, all right. Oh, that's better. Needed that. That's a pretty filthy, but... Oh, they got say it loud, say it clear. Refugees are welcome here going on now. It's always a bunch of it's always a bunch of bits and pieces. They're getting Bob back into position now. Channel 7. Got to do his media appearance for Channel 7. It's always a bit staged, but it is how it is. That's why when you see the mainstream media, you don't see some bloody bloke walking up a lift chatting to himself, but you know, this is what you do see. You got to move him around. See, they'll just manoeuvre him, these Channel 7 camera operators. I demand the right to protest against Israel's genocide in Palestine. That lady has. Banning protest. So Channel 7 is getting a few, they're getting a few shots, and now the cop's telling Bob to move, but he's not really moving. He's on the wrong side of the police there. He's not famous, but he's a academic from the Jews Against the Occupation 48. He's a Jewish academic anyway. He's taking a photo. I'm going to take a photo of Bob there. Why not? He's very photogenic. Camera lady's sweating up a storm there. These will be the last. Oh, after the flag, the crowd is a bit smaller after the flag. So the flag is coming now. Not a great spot for Bob. Just standing there with kind of randomly nothing in the background, and she got him over, and now she's not using him. Anyway, this is people are people. People are just who they are. Everyone goes to protest. Everyone does what they do. So.
Were you up there? Why do you keep filming us? Why do you go on the roof? What are you doing?
You don't want the footage of the protests over the years?
Well, what are you doing?
I filmed for a Sydney protest. It's a Telegram channel. All the protests, like Ukrainians or Russians or whatever. So it's not you guys, not just you guys, it's everyone. Yeah, Protest watch, well not really, but it's recording history as it's taken place since the 9th of October back in the Opera House, and ever since then, until there was a bit of issues, but yeah, that's all good. I've filmed you many times, speaking of things, and lots of footage there of yourself. You can check it out and use it up, use it how you want. It's on Telegram.
It's just a bit weird.
Yeah, look, it's
I'm
just...
always concerned about...
Yeah, you shouldn't be.
Footage is going, you know?
Telegram.
Shouldn't be.
Telegram, and I'm starting a YouTube channel too, but Telegram at the moment, which is not seen. But yeah, it's called Sydney Protest on Telegram. But you'll see plenty of your footage there over the last 3 or 4 years. And you speak very well, I might say, if I may say that. Yeah. You've done a couple. Over like a while ago down at the ICC or so. I kind of half remember anyway. Yeah, exactly. No, my name is James anyway, if you care for it, or it's up to you. Yeah. It's all good, brothers. All good, my friend. Oh, I got a reluctant handshake in the end. I don't know why they wanted to come and say something, but yeah, look, they do. I don't like to stick a camera in their face. Looks like Channel 7 is done for the day. I think everyone else is. Bob, he's having a chat to Bob now. What are you talking to that guy for? Yeah, there's many times I get accused of being all sorts of things, so it's like, I'm not that worried. Oh, this guy's, he makes lots of appearances with his dogs in the trolley. Poor old Bunnings lost the trolley years ago. That's Gonski's, they'll never get that one back. So yeah, people are coming up now into the park. They're dropping off their signs here. I think it's done. I'm pretty sure it's done. I'm kind of done. Oh, this must be the Jews for the Jews Against the Occupation 48. I always get the name wrong, but that's them. And they were concerned. You got the Palestinians concerned about me, the Jews Against the Occupation concerned because I'm filming the other day, and one of the ladies came over and asked what's it all about, and yeah, I told them. So all I can say is what I say, what I do. Yeah, I think that since I've been haven't really sort of said about my YouTube. Oh, he's talking, but I'll talk while I'm going. Oh, they've got such a coordinated flag fold going on here from years of practice, I guess. It's quite coordinated, isn't it? Turn and twist and double it over and triple it up. Oh, they got a twist in the middle here. Something went wrong. Someone stuffed it up. Oh, now they twist it all the way through to the end to fix it up. Very good. Oh, and then it's a twist at the other end. So they got a bit more work to do, but they're getting there. There's Bob, boycott Israel sticker on his back. Yeah, I kind of, that guy that just spoke to me, I mixed him up with another guy who looks a bit similar, not really, but the other guy speaks at things. He has spoken a few times, but not much. He's not much of a speaker. But yeah, look. Anyway, like I say, it's like I have written 100 letters to the members of Parliament, the ministers and the senators and the New South Wales ministers and everyone and sundry that has said that the Palestinians marched on, you know, or what became 1,000 pro-Hamas supporters were chanting "Gas the Jews" at the Opera House on the 9th of October 2023, so 2 years and a bit ago now. And it wasn't true, you know. Immediately I knew. I was there filming these dudes. The footage is, I'll put a link to it. The footage was there. They just, these young guys, one guy says, "Where's the Jews?" And then another 12 or 14 other guys join in by saying, "Where's the Jews?" And they chant it 14 times, I think, or 16 times, I can't remember. They want the whole speakers there. Maybe they are going to speak, but I think people are moving off, so I don't think they are. What was I getting to? Oh, and then, yeah, and then I said to people, I sent it out straight away saying, no, that's wrong. That's because the Australian Jewish Association then put on a what is it, Twitter or X post with this subtitle, "Gas the Jews," underneath where they're saying, "Where's the Jews?" And they doctored it up and they repeated the audio, and it was all dodgy from day dot. But anyway, so yeah, I just knew it was wrong, and it was just repeated in the Parliament by all these, primarily liberal national, and one Labor member who was a Jewish guy, and the rest were all Liberals, all Nationals, and One Nation, of course, all jumped in, and it's just, these, pro-Hamas supporters chanting "Gas the Jews" at the Opera House, on and on and on. They went on and on and on, so many of them, and it was wrong. It was bullshit. And I wrote a letter, individually wrote them all a letter, so 33 lots of letters to start with, or 34, saying, this is wrong. And this was before the police had even done the investigation into it. And I said, this is wrong. It didn't happen. Where's the Jews? It's never been "Gas the Jews." They're all, you are up on, you're in the Hansard record now, which is the record of the government, what gets said at Parliament. You're on the Hansard record of saying "Gas the Jews," and it's wrong. It's not true. I think you should retract it. No answer from all of them. I sent a second letter after that, before it was announced again. And the second letter was like, same thing, same deal. And I got 2 answers, I think, or 3 answers. One guy telling me, things sound funny when you listen to it. And he sent me some links. It was just stupidness, really. Then I wrote to some other politicians as well. And then the police announced it due to the footage that they had uncovered on that channel I was just telling that bloke about. It's all freaking there for anyone to see. So, even the cops can eventually find their way there. But they only found their way there because I was not confronted, but I was met in the park the week later by a bloke called Chris Coveries who films things. And he said to me, was it violent at the Opera House? I said, no, it wasn't violent. He goes, what do you mean not violent? What about "Gas the Jews"? And I said, well, that was never said. And he goes, well, it's out there now, so it's kind of going to go down in history as being said. And I was very unhappy with hearing that. But because he has wide reach, like his video of last week's march, rally, got 172,000 hits. Mine got 12, and mine's a better video, I might say. But about the man saying what he said, and again, I missed a bit of him getting marched off by the cops, but that's my fault for not hanging around. All right, this is a long end rant, and just say, look, it's all just people heading home now. I'm only saying this now because I got confronted by that guy and his entourage. They don't just come and speak to you one-on-one. They got to bring like 4 of them, and it's like they're all, it's not very scary or anything because they're all, they are what they are. But I'm happy to have the truth out there. But anyway, what was I up to? So finally, that got on to, this is the story of what happened. And this is the story that ended up with me being attacked by the Palestinians, even though I'm trying to not protect them, but I'm just trying to clear their name of the lie that was due to become the truth, and it would be the truth if it wasn't for yours truly here. And then so Chris Coveries did that, and then another guy he tried to contact me through a small media group called Crikey. So this guy from Crikey is trying to message me, Cam Wilson, and then finally I answered him and said, yeah, what do you want? And he goes, the Chris Coveries thing about this, "Gas the Jews," have you got any information about it? I said, yeah, I'll send you these letters I've sent to the politicians, and I'll I will, yeah, what do you want to do? You know, I never spoke to him in the end, but he messaged me, I messaged him back. I said, no, it's all bullshit. That the whole thing was a setup by the AJA, the Australian Jewish Association, put it out there with the subtitles, knowing or not knowing, you know, that's debatable whether it was Where's the Jews, which it was, but they chose to write Gas the Jews, and people that just wouldn't listen properly heard Gas the Jews. But if you listen to it now, after hearing the information, and you see it, and you close your eyes, you don't look at the bloody subtitles, of course you're going to hear Where's the Jews, like, you know, like I heard at the time, at the day, at the spot. Across here. A few more cops coming late. I shouldn't have so wide, it makes it noise for the wobbling around. So where are we up to with this long-winded story? Because it's got to go at the end of this thing. And again, look, it's only because that dude questioned me with his little entourage of heavies. So the next thing is Camgles, and then Crikey puts out a story. And then once Crikey's put out a story, you know, then it became something, because it's like, you know, I've written these politicians, they just ignore it. You know, then Crikey puts the story out, and now it's news. So, and then the cops get onto it, and the next thing you know, I'm getting the freaking messages I'm getting phone calls, which I never pick up anyway. And then I'm getting messages from the cops saying, oh, we need to speak to you, blah blah, and I ignore them, and it continues on for a week or two, and then finally, something happened, and I had to talk to them. So yeah, I just said, look, this is what happened. I do this. You know, you know me from the filming the protests. I've been doing it for, you know, prior to the Palestinian thing, well, not, you know, prior to the 7th of October and the restarting of the Palestinian protests, which got bigger after that. There were some small ones apparently before that. And what was I going to say? So that's it. Let's cross. I'm trying to think about crossing and not getting run over. Here we are, look at this. love to go right in there for a beer right now, but I better get home and put all this shit up on the internet. And it's just, I do this as a job, not a job, I just do it it's a job that I feel I have to do. I get no pay for it, I get no support for it, it's all on my own time. You know, I get nothing from it other than a bit of shit that I cop from those people. And I do get a little bit of thanks here and there, which I'm not looking for, but occasionally, you know, people say, oh, you know, thanks for what you do, blah, blah, blah. Normally it's certainly not these guys. It's never been. You know, I contacted the PAG about it all, and after they had an issue, which I won't go into here, anyway, it's all the muchness. But you know, some people enjoy my commentary, and other people say, "What do you fucking talk about the e-bikes for? You're always going on about the e-bikes. Why am I always? Why? Oh, fuck me ankle! I've just tripped over a fucking e-bike that's been dumped on the ground. Yeah, but you know. And I do talk a lot of shit. You got all these. There's a backpacker here. So this is the Backpackers, which was a CB hotel, erected in 1903 apparently. Some sign says. But then all these fucking Uber Eats bikes. So they come over here, backpacking holiday, $29 a week. You can hire a bike, and you're an Uber Eats, you're an Uber driver, or a DoorDash, or whatever else they have that they run. You take your battery, you charge it for free. And I reckon they'd have to be paying. You'd have to be paying for the charging now, because the backpackers will be losing coin. And then you'll find them all here, and then other people probably live in this apartment where you live in 18 into a room, and all the bikes are all sitting here until they're busy later, because it's a bit of a nobody's eating now, and all the lazy people that live in the city. And then there's I know there's a bit of shit in there, a lot of fucking shit in there. How'd you like get food out of that one? And then there's bikes that have just been dumped here forever. Always going on about the bloody bikes. You can't just stay on topic. Look at this one. It's chained. It's got no seat. This one here, everything's taken except the wheel. They left you a wheel because it's chained. You can't get it. Other these e-bikes, I don't know if they're running or not running. I'm assuming they probably are, or maybe aren't. Should we cross here and we'll go through the World Square? Second Tesla will let me through. Where was I on the big long story? This is the big one now. We're up to 15 minutes. Almost done. I forgot where I was now. So the cops, yeah, and they put it out. Then it went out, and it cleared the name of the Palestinians. They were cleared of that. And then of course, Sky News is, Where's the Jews is just as bad. And it's like, oh, you fucking assholes. On the day, sure, there was all this stuff that went on. There was fuck the Jews yelled. This little socialist guy came along and said, no, you should just say fuck the Zionists. So he made them say fuck the Zionists, and they put him up on their shoulders and marched him around. And there was flag burnt, and there was all these flares getting thrown at the cops on the steps of the Opera House, and all this shit went on, which is true. But they wanted to go with a big one. They wanted to go with Gas the Jews. It's like, oh my God, this is a call for the annihilation of an entire people. You know, there's 1,000 pro-Hamas supporters here all chanting and in unison to gas the Jews. And it's like, yeah, fuck me. And then they won't, when they find out that, when the cops finally tell them, when I tell them, and none of the politicians have ever backed down on it. I've got a good little compilation video of it all. I might just throw it on at the end of this on the YouTube. So you've got to go to the YouTube version again, but I won't put it on the Telegram one. I'll whack it on at the end if you've gotten this far, which most people won't have. So no one's going to hear this bloody rant, especially on YouTube. I've only just started doing it. Like I said, sorry, I'm chit-chatting now. I'm coming down here. Might get a e-scooter. If I can curse, a little thing on the news. I keep talking. I'll stop. But I'm not an asshole. You know, these people, I'm just a human. I get treated so badly. You know, I went to another rally yesterday and I got treated badly by this other lady who's, you know, virtually accusing me. It's always, where's the footage going? Where's the footage going? And it's like, I guess that's understandable. But then you tell them to their face and it's still not enough. And then she's virtually, you know, saying I'm a freaking, you know, whoa, yeah, I don't think so. I think she's insinuating that, you know, it's going to bloody ASIO or somewhere. I don't know. You know, who wants to know about her and the fucking protesting? Anyway. But look, you know, I understand it's a worry these days with a change in the situation. All right, that story will be done for now. The rest of the story is, like I said, you know, no thanks. I'm not looking for thanks, but there was no thanks. You know, and I argued with them. I argued with the PAG a bit, and they used to attack. You know, I used to have a hell of a time for a while, and then I sort of, you know, made them. Then they see the footage and they see they just, you know, why is everyone attacking this one guy? They're there saying, you know, don't let Israel attack Gaza, but there's all these people attacking this one bloke in the streets of Sydney, and it's like, it's a bad look. But it's good now. I can sit there quite happily. They just, we don't talk. I don't talk to them. They don't talk to me. We got something going on now. That's what we have going on. That's how it is. It's a good little walk around Sydney anyway. 4 years. This is just there, Sydney. Oh, got stairs and think I'm in the wrong spot. Let's go to the front. We'll go this way. We'll get a little bit more chit chat. It's all kind of, you know, this is just, it's all kind of Asian food now. This is noodles your way. Mr. Chef. Oh, freaking, there's ducks hanging by their necks there. Dollar Avenue wasn't anything for Invasion Day or Australia Day last week, but Chinese New Year, fucking chock-a-block, Valentine's, couple of Valentine's cards thrown in, but primarily Chinese New Year. The number one Malatung, any kind of food you want. Korean chicken. Anyway, and then here's the yogurt. These frozen yogurt places there. They're a little bit. They've just popped up everywhere. Normally the Yochi is the one that they're everywhere now. All right, okay, no more blabbering. Let's get the hell out of here. The story ends with, you know, like I said, finally it's cleared up, and it's none of these politicians have ever said. Anyone who's out there and you are listening to this, just, you know, let me know if you want to write to these politicians as well and say, I demand that you retract that statement. I demand, because I see it as an Australian, which, you know, or so-called Australian, these people today would say, but as an Australian, it's an insult to me, my family, my children, you know, my grandchildren, all my, you know, parents, everyone in my family. It's an insult to them that these politicians are saying on the streets of Sydney, there's people chanting, you know, hundreds of pro-Hamas supporters chanting gas the Jews. It's just bullshit. It's a lie. They've said it in Parliament and they've never said it, never gone back on it. Big list of them, big list of 34 of them. And some of them still say, even after it was retracted, they still go on and saying it. Especially, you know, Katter. Katter's a bit of a nutcase anyway, but you know, he says he's up there with a few of his crazed rants. Yeah, you got to watch the gas the Jews shorts of the politicians. Yeah, Katter's the star. Yeah, you got Katter, you got Roberts, you got Hanson, you know, on the right. Oh, well, they're all on the right, pretty much all on the right, because then they're Liberals and Nationals, and you got the one doctor someone or other, who's the Jewish Labour guy. He's the only one that said, I reckon Labour were told, you know, don't say it, you're not allowed to say it. We have social cohesion, this, that and the other, and blah, 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 blah. That all the Liberals and the Nationals, yeah, not all of them, but the ones that did it, Liberals, Nationals, Sky News, ran with it. You know, there's what's that guy in America, in England called, I can't remember his name, but he's, you know, those sort of, you know, Israel-centric or, you know, Israel-positive type shows and webcasts, what am I talking about? Podcasts and that sort of thing in England. Went with America. That's where that's on the CBC. I did a great big long video like a week or two later, which is on my Telegram too. I'll put a link to that as well. And it is like this, me just ranting and raving down there and just showing all the cuts I've got off of the politicians and of the media, just saying it over and over and over. And yeah, just the lie had become a truth, had become the truth, I should say. And then in the end, it went back to being a lie again. So that is all I have to say, because I'm going to go this way to get to the Commonwealth Bank, and then I will go and get some dinner and go home and load all this up. And what's this? 21 minutes. Okay, that's done.
Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews. Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews. Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews. Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews. Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews. Gas the Jews. Gas the Jews.
I've gassed the Jews.
Gas the Jews. Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews. Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews. Gas the Jews. Gas the Jews. Gas the Jews. Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews. Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews. Gas the Jews.
Gas the Jews.
The gassing of Jews. The gassing of Jews.
For Jews to be gassed.